Man, when you talk about street loyalty, betrayal, fan power moves, 50 Cent's name is always somewhere in that mix. But this time, it ain't just another rap beef. This time, 50 just pulled a move that left Jim Jones looking finished. See, Jim's been loud lately, taking shots, calling names, trying to prove he's still running with that Harlem energy. But what he didn't expect was for 50 Cent to come through and expose street secrets that weren't supposed to leave the block. And once those words hit the internet, it was game over. People in the industry are whispering, did 50 just end Jim Jones' credibility? Fans are digging up old interviews, rival crews are laughing, and suddenly, the whole hip-hop community is watching this unfold like a movie. What 50 revealed wasn't just petty drama, it was personal. Stuff that could change how people see Jim forever. And the craziest part? 50 didn't even break a sweat doing it. So today, we're breaking down exactly what went down between 50 Cent and Jim Jones, the secrets, the reactions, and how this might be the final chapter of Jim's career in the game. Before the chaos hit the internet, Jim Jones was doing what he always does, talking heavy. He'd been all over interviews, podcasts, and club appearances, claiming he's one of the few real street rappers still active in the game. He reminded everyone about his Dipset legacy, about Harlem, and about how he really lived that life. But lately, people weren't buying it the same way they used to. See, 50 Cent has a reputation. He doesn't argue, he exposes. He doesn't tweet subliminals, he drops receipts that end careers. So when whispers started spreading that 50 was about to say something about Jim, the streets knew something big was coming. It started small. A cryptic Instagram post from 50. No names, no tags, just a caption. Some of these rappers forgot who put fear in the industry. Don't make me remind you. Fans flooded the comments instantly. He's talking about Jim. Uh-oh, another victim is coming. At first, Jim brushed it off. In an interview, he laughed and said, "Ain't nobody exposing nothing. I'm good in every hood." But that laugh sounded nervous, because everyone who's ever gone against 50 Ja Rule, Young Buck, the game, they all ended up with their reputations in pieces behind the scenes. Though 50 wasn't just trolling. He was gathering information, street information. Old associates, former Dipset affiliates, people who knew Jim from before the fame. And when 50 gathers data, he turns it into a storyline that the internet can't resist. Then it happened, out of nowhere. 50 posted a short clip during an IG Live just a few seconds long where a man claimed Jim was never who he said he was. The man hinted at street deals gone wrong, debts unpaid, and alliances broken. Within hours, that clip was everywhere. YouTube, TikTok, X.fans started connecting dots. Wait, didn't Jim once fall out with French Montana over street money? Didn't 50 hinted something similar years ago? The narrative was forming fast and Jim was silent. And here's where it got crazy. 50 didn't even need to say Jim's name because the fans did it for him. He just added fuel with another post. Never forget where the paperwork is. The comments section exploded. The word paperwork in street culture means only one thing. Somebody might have talked. Now, whether that's true or not didn't even matter because perception is everything in hip-hop. Once that seed was planted, people started revisiting Jim's history. Old beef. That moment when Tekashi 6ix9ine mentioned Jim's name in court. The silence that followed. It all came flooding back like a bad memory. In the rap world, silence is dangerous. And for Jim, that silence was louder than any diss track. He didn't clap back. He didn't post. He just disappeared for a few days. Meanwhile, 50 was enjoying the storm, posting memes, laughing emojis, and little jabs that kept the internet feeding off the drama. But here's the real reason the 50s movie hit so hard. It wasn't just about humiliating Jim Jones publicly. It was about sending a message. The 50s always played the long game. He sees rap beef as chess, not checkers. Every move is meant to remind people, I control the narrative. For years, Jim had been trying to prove he's a boss in his own right, building his image outside of Dipset, launching businesses, going viral for his gym grind and motivational talk. But all it takes is one whisper from 50 Cent, and that whole image starts to shake. Because when 50 calls you out, the world listens. Blogs jumped in. Did 50 just expose Jim Jones? Is Jim Jones' street credibility fake? What's the real story behind those secrets? YouTubers made breakdown videos overnight. Some sided with Jim, saying 50 was just trolling for views. Others said it looked like 50 had real information. And he was saving the worst for later. Jim tried to downplay it by posting a picture flexing his jewelry with the caption, "Still shining, still standing." But the comments were brutal. 50 got you quiet. We want receipts, capo. Where's that Harlem energy now? Even people from within the industry started chiming in. A few OGs from New York went live saying, if 50 said it, there's a reason. He doesn't just talk. And that's when it hit Jim. This wasn't about music anymore. This was about respect. And in hip-hop, respect is currency. Lose it, and your career can fall apart overnight. So, behind closed doors, sources say Jim started calling people, trying to figure out who talked to 50, trying to find out what he really knows. Because when 50 gets information, he doesn't always use it right away. He waits for the perfect time, and this might have just been the opening round. The atmosphere around the industry shifted. You could feel the tension in interviews. Reporters started asking questions Jim didn't want to answer. What's your response to 50? Is there truth to what he said? His face said it all. Frustration, exhaustion, maybe even fear. Meanwhile, 50 just kept laughing. He even posted a photo of himself with the caption, "They all tough until the truth shows up." And once again, the internet exploded. Memes, tweets, podcasts, everyone dissecting every word. By the end of that week, it wasn't about if 50 had proof. It was about how bad the proof could be. Jim's name was trending for all the wrong reasons. And that's when the story started to shift. From petty beef to a full-blown street credibility crisis. Because now, every rapper, every fan, and every blog wanted to know, what exactly did 50 Cent find out? When 50 Cent said, "Never forget where the paperwork was," that wasn't just trolling. That was a shot fired straight at Jim's image. Everyone knew what it meant. The whispers of paperwork in the streets carry a dangerous weight, especially for someone who built his whole identity around loyalty and code. At first, nobody believed 50 had anything real. They thought he was just stirring up drama like usual. But then came the proofs, or at least what looked like them. Screenshots, old photos, voice recordings, clips from interviews where Jim slipped up and said things that suddenly didn't sound so innocent anymore. The first blow came when 50 shared an old Vlad TV clip where Tekashi 6ix9ine called Jim Jones a snitch and said he was still walking around free. Back then, people brushed it off as Tekashi being Tekashi, messy, and desperate. But now, with 50 amplifying it, the whole thing looked brand new. .50 captioned it. Funny how some people move when the lights are off. No names again. But everyone knew who he meant. Within hours, the clip went viral again. Comment sections flooded. Yo, is this what 50 was talking about? This explains everything. Jim better speak before 50 ruins him completely. Then another post dropped. This time an old photo of Jim standing with certain figures from Harlem, some of whom had deep connections to past cases. 50 didn't even need to explain. Just a simple caption, circles tell you everything. The internet went wild. Fans started digging. Reddit threads popped up with people connecting timelines, old court transcripts, and even lyrics from Jim's songs that suddenly sounded like confessions. And that's the thing about 50. He's a master manipulator of perception. He doesn't even have to prove everything he says. He just needs to make you believe it's true. Meanwhile, Jim's silence was only making it worse. He was getting dragged on social media daily. Memes calling him Capo the Snitch, edited photos of him wearing police badges, fake news articles. The internet had turned on him fast. People who once defended Jim started to distance themselves. Even some members from Dipset stayed quiet, like they didn't want to get caught in the crossfire. Cameron didn't post a word. Joel Santana kept it neutral. That silence said a lot. Behind the scenes, insiders say Jim was furious. He wanted to respond, but everyone around him told him to chill because 50 feeds off energy. The more you talk, the more he destroys you. But for Jim, that silence was killing his reputation. Fans wanted answers. Blogs wanted statements. But Jim was nowhere to be found. And just when things started to cool off, 50 came back this time with a story. He went live laughing, telling an old industry story about a rapper who used to claim the streets but folded when things got heavy. He never said Jim's name, but he kept dropping hints. Harlem, Dipset. Capo, it was too obvious then. 50 said something that sent chills across the culture. I've got stories that'll make people rethink who their heroes really are. That line alone turned the internet into detectives. People started pulling up Jim's past, especially his alleged connections with federal cases tied to the 9 Trey Gangsta Bloods. The same organization Tekashi 6ix9ine was once affiliated with. Old audio leaks resurfaced. Conversations where federal informants mentioned a rapper named Jim. Nobody ever proved anything solid. But now, with 50 stirring it up again, it looks suspicious all over again. That's 50's genius. He doesn't even have to prove you're guilty. He just makes everyone wonder if you are. And once people start doubting your street authenticity, if your credibility is gone, you could feel it in the way people talked online. Yo, maybe Jim ain't built like that. 50 shook him. Why didn't you respond? Jim finally cracked. He went live late one night, pacing back and forth in his studio, looking tired but angry. I don't care what nobody says. Ain't nobody exposed me. I was outside, my resume solid, asking about me. 50 can talk all he wants. I'm good in these streets. But life didn't help. In fact, it made things worse. The comments were ruthless. You sound defensive, Capo. If you are real, show proof. Why are you explaining yourself? The energy shifted. That Harlem confidence Jim was known for started cracking under pressure. He deleted the live hours later, but it was already reposted everywhere. Meanwhile, 50 dropped a meme of a man panicking in a recording studio with the caption, "Hit dogs holler." It was brutal and perfectly timed. The beef had officially gone from subliminals to psychological warfare. Music. Journalists started weighing in, saying this could be one of the worst reputation hits Jim's ever taken. Hip-hop blogs titled their posts, "Is Jim Jones finished?" 50 Cent might have just ended another career. The crazy part, 50 still hadn't released any hard evidence, but perception had already done its job. People began unfollowing Jim. Brands stopped reposting his promos, and media outlets shifted attention to other artists. He was slowly being blackballed by the algorithm, not because of facts, but because of optics. And 50. He was living his best life, promoting his liquor brand, his shows, posting videos of himself laughing with captions like, "Another one bites the dust." But deep down, everyone in the culture knew what this meant. If 50 still had more dirt to drop, things were only going to get uglier, because when 50 Cent gets locked in on you, he doesn't stop at humiliation. He aims for destruction. And the whispers started again. What if 50's next move ain't online? What if it's legal? The rumor mill spun out of control, claims that 50 had paperwork, that he might drop files, that something big was coming next week. Whether true or not, the anticipation was enough to make everyone tune in at this point. Jim wasn't just in a PR mess, he was in survival mode. His team was doing damage control, calling media outlets, asking them not to run 50's posts. But it was too late. The internet had already picked sides. The streets started saying it out loud. Jim lost this one, and 50 Cent. He hadn't even said Jim's name once. By the time a full week passed, This wasn't just another online beef anymore. This had turned into a cultural event. The industry was split down the middle. Some people were clowning Jim Jones nonstop, while others were begging him to fire back before 50 completely buried him. And for once, Jim couldn't hide behind the flashy lifestyle, designer clothes, or Harlem talk. Because every time he posted anything, the comments were flooded with clown emojis, rat emojis, and fans quoting 50's captions. It was ugly. Even the blogs that used to ride for him started switching up. Hip Hop DX, The Shade Room, VLAD TV, everyone was pushing the same headline. Jim Jones' street cred under fire after 50 Cent's explosive posts. That kind of headline hurts an artist more than any diss track ever could. Because once the streets start doubting you, your whole identity cracks. And Jim Jones' identity was built on being the capo, the boss, the enforcer, the Harlem shot-caller. Now, the internet was calling him the capo. But what made it worse was what came next. 50 Cent didn't stop. He doubled down. One night, 50 went live on Instagram drinking champagne, laughing, talking, slick like only he can. He said, "Some of these rappers have been lying for decades, and y'all still believe them? The truth always comes out. You've just got to wait long enough." He didn't say Jim's name once, but he didn't have to. Because seconds later, he played a recording an old conversation between a street figure and a voice that fans claimed sounded like Jim. The audio was muffled, grainy, unclear, but that didn't matter. The idea that it could be real was enough to set the internet on fire. Twitter blew up instantly. "That's Jim, no doubt. Yo, this man has exposed himself." 50 did it again. The clip got reposted over 1 million times in less than 24 hours. Jim's team tried to get it taken down, saying it was fake, edited, fabricated, but the damage was already done. 50 posted another meme right after. "Don't make me open the archives." That was just the intro. The timing was perfect. It looked like a setup. Like 50 had been sitting on all this for months, waiting for the perfect time to unleash it. And that's when people realized this wasn't random. 50 Cent was strategic. He always has been. He's not a troll. He's a tactician. Every post, every word, every caption was meant to break down Jim's confidence piece by piece. Meanwhile, Jim's mood shifted. He wasn't laughing anymore. He started posting motivational quotes, Bible verses, workout clips, trying to distract from the scandal. But fans saw through it. Comments like, "Bro, 50? Got you quoting scripture? You pray 'cause the streets are found out." He couldn't win. Everything he did just became another meme. And behind the scenes, people from Harlem were whispering that Jim was really heated. Word was, he called a few mutuals to try and talk to 50 to squash it before it went too far. But the 50's camp wasn't answering. 50 didn't want peace. He wanted payback. Then came the power move. 50 posted a clip from Power, his TV show, with a caption that read, "Funny how art imitates life." The scene showed a character snitching on his crew. The symbolism was brutal. Everyone connected the dots instantly. Jim finally broke his silence again. This time, on The Breakfast Club. You could hear the frustration in his voice. "Man, people love drama. Y'all believe anything you see on the internet? 50 doing what 50 do. He is a troll. Ain't no secrets, ain't no snitching, none of that. My record is clean. Anybody saying otherwise can come see me." But again, it wasn't convincing. Not because he was lying, but because 50 already controlled the narrative. Even Charlemagne had that look, half amused, half unsure. Because once the internet believes something, it's almost impossible to take it back. After the interview, 50 reposted a clip from it with the caption, "The guilty always talk first." And just like that, another viral moment. Blogs picked it up instantly. Hashtags like #JimJonesExposed and number 50 got another one. Started trending. Other rappers started chiming in subtly too. Meek Mill posted a laughing emoji. Rick Ross commented, "Damn, it's hot in Harlem, huh?" Even Pusha T liked a shady post that said, "The truth doesn't need no caption." It was like the entire hip-hop world had turned on Jim overnight. And 50. He was sitting back, watching it all burn. But what really made fans lose their minds came a few days later when 50 teased something big. He posted a black screen with text that said, "Tomorrow, 12 p.m. Receipts." That one post created absolute chaos online. YouTubers went live waiting for the drop. Twitter Spaces filled up with people debating what 50 might release. Even major outlets like TMZ and Complex posted about it. Everyone was waiting for 12 p.m. when the clock hit noon. 50 didn't post any files. He just uploaded a photo of himself in a suit, holding a folder labeled "Confidential." No caption, just a smirk. The internet exploded again. It didn't matter that he never released anything because by now, thought the psychological damage was complete. 50 had built a narrative so strong that people filled in the blanks themselves. Jim's streaming numbers dropped. His latest single got flooded with troll comments. Brands started quietly pulling away. Even his upcoming show bookings started getting postponed. 50 didn't have to drop proof. The idea of proof was enough. That's how 50 wins, not by shouting louder, but by playing smarter. By the end of that week, Jim Jones' image, the Harlem boss, the Dipset soldier, the hustler had taken a hit that might never fully heal. He went silent again. No posts, no interviews. Just gone. And that silence spoke louder than anything else. The fans knew it. The culture knew it. Everyone could feel it. Jim Jones had lost the internet. But the craziest part? People started wondering what the 50's real motive was. Was this revenge for something deeper? Was it about business? Or was 50 just sending a warning to anyone thinking of crossing him next? Because if there's one thing everyone learned from this, when 50 Cent says your name, it's not for clout. It's for closure. It's been weeks since 50 Cent dropped his bombshell, and the shockwaves still haven't stopped shaking the industry. Jim Jones, the self-proclaimed capo, once the loudest voice in Harlem's hustle culture, has gone quiet. Too quiet, no more cocky posts. No more interviews. No more back and forths. Just silence. And in today's world, silence speaks louder than any diss track. Because when a rapper stops talking, that's when the streets start talking for him. Word around New York was that Jim had gone back to the block, not for music, not for content, but to repair his name, to look certain people in the eye and convince them that the things 50 exposed weren't true. But the thing about reputation, once it cracks in public, no amount of street talk can fix it. 50 Cent didn't just hit Jim with words, he hit him with psychology. He made the public question Jim's authenticity. He made the streets question Jim's loyalty. And in the rap game, that's worse than death. Industry insiders started whispering that certain brands and promoters were quietly backing away. Bad optics, they said. Too much noise, too much heat. Even Dipset's old affiliates started distancing themselves. Cameron, who used to ride for Jim, suddenly wasn't mentioning him at all. Joel Santana was posting cryptic quotes like, "Sometimes silence is protection." Fans noticed. Blogs noticed. Everyone noticed. Meanwhile, 50 Cent was living it up, jet-setting, promoting new shows, signing new deals, posting subtle digs every few days. Just to remind everyone that he was still the one in control. He even posted a meme showing himself as Thanos, snapping his fingers while Jim Jones' face faded away. Caption: "Another one bites the dust," and once again viral. You couldn't escape it. The meme was everywhere. TikTok, YouTube, Reddit, X, all echoing the same theme. 50 ended. Jim Jones without even dropping a track. But here's the thing about humiliation. It either breaks you or builds you. And for a moment, it looked like Jim was ready to fight back. Out of nowhere, he dropped a new freestyle, raw, gritty, emotional, over a slow, dark beat. He didn't say 50's name directly, but the bars were loaded. "I'd been through worse. Can't no man define me. You throwing shade, I still shine where the grind is. Talk what you want, the real one's behind me." The delivery was passionate, but the internet wasn't buying it. The top comment under the video said, "You shining? Bro, 50 turned off the lights." That one line summed it all up, because the problem wasn't Jim's talent, it was timing. He waited too long to respond. He let 50 dominate the headlines for too many days straight. And once 50 owns your story, you're done. Even other artists began drawing lessons from this beef. Boosie went live saying, "Man, don't ever let 50 get on your bad side. That man played chess, not checkers." No R.E. joked on Drink Champs. 50 don't even gotta rap no more. He just posts memes and ends careers. And they weren't lying, because by the end of that month, Jim's numbers told the truth. Streams dropped, engagement tanked, and his followers weren't reacting like before. People had moved on. The attention had shifted from Jim's music to 50's next move. Then, out of nowhere, 50 Cent dropped one final bomb. He posted a short clip, edited like a movie trailer showing snippets of their old photos, headlines, and a quote at the end that read, "Never bite the hand that built your legend." The caption. Just 2 words. The end. That was it. No diss, no rant, no tags. Just pure dominance. It was almost poetic, like 50 was saying, "I made you relevant again, just to show I could take it away." The fans went crazy in the comments. Some said this is why he's undefeated in beef. Others wrote, 50 don't beef, he buries. And deep down, even Jim knew there was no coming back from this. In a rare moment, he went live and spoke to his fans directly. No fancy background, no filters, just raw emotion. "I ain't perfect. I made mistakes. But I've been solid my whole life. Ain't no man alive gone define me off rumors. I love my city. I love my people. And I stand on what I say." It was powerful. It was human. But it was too late. Because when you're in a public war with someone like 50 Cent, a man who's mastered media manipulation, timing, and humiliation, you don't get to control your redemption arc. He does, even now. Fans say 50's Street Secrets era will go down as one of the coldest, most surgical takedowns in hip-hop history. No tracks, no studio sessions, just words, posts, and timing. And Jim Jones. He became the latest name added to 50 Cent's long list of opponents who tried to go toe-to-toe with him and didn't make it out the same. The message was loud and clear. You can't out-talk 50. You can't outplay him. You can only hope he forgets about you. And for Jim, that might be the only piece he'll get now. And there you have it. 50 Cent once again proving he's untouchable in this game. But what do you think? Was Jim Jones really exposed? Or did 50 just use his power to control the narrative? Drop your thoughts below and don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell, because this story ain't over yet. You know, 50 always has another move coming. Stay tuned, because when it comes to hip-hop power plays, 50 Cent always gets the final word. Always gets the final word.